Growing a business is kind of tricky right now. Supply chains are squeezed, tariffs and trade policies are dynamic, and cash flow, it's tighter than ever. You need clarity to come out on top. Without it, you risk falling behind. If only you could hop in the DeLorean and see the future, right? Thankfully, there's NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite has real-time forecasting to help you move ahead with confidence. This is your AI-powered business management suite and the #1 cloud ERP. Trusted by over 42,000 businesses, NetSuite brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all under one roof. It's your single source of truth, giving you the data and control you need to move quickly. And with AI built in, you can automate the busy work and focus on strategy. NetSuite helps you see what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If I were running a business with a lot of moving parts, I'd use NetSuite for full control over everything. Tame the chaos with NetSuite. If your revenues are at least in 7 figures, download the free ebook, Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/SPI. That's netsuite.com/SPI. The perfect product launch. It's the goal for every brand marketer. High heat, fast sellout, and fans posting recipes like trophies. What do Sydney Sweeney's soap drop, Taylor Swift's tickets, and your next launch have in common? Well, they're not bought, they're bragged about. Fanfare turns your drop into a moment. Fanfare cues real fans, blocks bots, and builds launch experiences worth screenshotting. Want hype without the heartbreak? Get Fanfare's 5-step hype drop playbook with our proven success formula and make your next launch unforgettable at fanfare.io/playbook. Again, fanfare.io/playbook. Hey, I get it. You've worked really hard to build up your business and it's doing great. So great that you need help now. The most important thing for your business is to hire the right people to support it. So how can you find amazing candidates quickly? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you stand out and hire fast. And with Sponsored Jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. And it makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, Sponsored Jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. And it's one of the largest databases of job seekers, too, giving business owners access to a wide range of candidates. And one of the things I love most about Indeed is the job alerts feature. I get notified when new candidates apply. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/smartpassive. Just go to Indeed.com/smartpassive right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/smartpassive. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring Indeed is all you need.
This is a Smart Passive Income Podcast with Pat Flynn, session number 49. 49? Are you serious?
Welcome to the Smart Passive Income Podcast, where it's all about working hard now so you can sit back and reap the benefits later. And now your host, who learned the most chemistry from watching Breaking Bad, Pat Flynn.
While DIY website tools are everywhere, most fall short on design and performance. Hit publish. Framer ships your site worldwide in seconds. No code, no compromises. Framer is a powerful, user-friendly platform that delivers developer-level results without writing a single line of code. Make your designs move and convert with Framer. Framer brings your site to life with powerful animations, dynamic content handling, and a design-first approach that helps your site stand out. Framer is the design-first, no-code website builder that lets anyone ship a production-ready site in minutes. Browse hundreds of pixel-perfect templates or even design something of your own on a totally blank canvas. Add bold animations like appear effects, text effects, scroll and looping animations, and much more in seconds. And it's free to start. The built-in AI handles the heavy lifting of generating starter layouts and can even translate your entire site to any language. On the back end, you'll get responsive breakpoints, built-in hosting, a flexible CMS, and privacy-friendly analytics. Ready to build a site that looks hand-coded without hiring a developer? Launch your site for free at Framer.com and use code SPI to get your first month of pro on the house. That's Framer.com, promo code SPI. Framer.com, promo code SPI. Rules and restrictions may apply. Running a business means legal questions are inevitable. Is this contract or agreement solid? What can I do if a client won't pay me? Am I set up properly for taxes? Well, rather than trying to navigate all of this on your own or searching endlessly online, imagine having a law firm on your side without the high hourly rates. That's exactly what Legal Shield's small business plans offer. With Legal Shield, entrepreneurs get access to real legal support, contract reviews, collection letters, guidance on business formation, and even help handling IRS audits. Members can book consultations, upload documents through the app, and work with a provider law firm that understands small business laws in your state. You also get proactive help on tax and trademark questions so you can stay ahead of legal risks. And if a client delays payment, Legal Shield can send professional collection letters to help you recover what you're owed, all for a fraction of what traditional attorneys charge. Go to LegalShield.com/SPI or call 833-570-9980 to learn more and get big business legal support without a big business budget. That's LegalShield.com/SPI.
Hey, what's up? This is Pat Flynn, and welcome to session 49. This is crazy because it's only October. I'm recording this session in October of 2012, and my goal for the year was to get to at least 50 podcasts. So it definitely looks like I'm going to meet that goal. Man, it's just knowing that I'm meeting goals that I've set for myself like 10 months ago. It just feels amazing. So I hope you are reaching your goals too, because guess what? Time flies. And at least right now, there's only a couple months left until the end of the year. So the lesson is reassess what your goals are or what they were, figure out how you're progressing, and adjust accordingly. You could do it. So getting into today's content and our feature guest, his name is Brendan Hufford, and I'll let him tell you what he's doing online in just a second. But let me just say, one of my favorite things in the world is getting emails and messages and sometimes phone calls too from people who tell me they've put my advice into action and are seeing results. That's why I do what I do. And I just got a note this morning, an email from an SPI fan, Steve Nixon, who runs freejazzlessons.com. Shout out to Steve. And again, thank you for sending me this note. And I do want to get him on a podcast later, so you may hear from him in the future. But anyways, Steve sent me an email this morning that says, Pat, hope all is well. I just wanted to send you a quick thank you note. I just released my first product ever on the site, and it was a huge success. That's huge in capital letters. Way beyond what I thought this could be. I'm currently still in launch week right now. It's all very surreal, but a lot of fun. Your advice over the last year has been so helpful. You are the man. No, Steve, you are the man. Seriously, I'm looking at your Facebook feed right now through my Reportive app in Gmail, and I can see you promoting a jazz improv DVD, which I'm guessing is the product that you are promoting right now in your launch. And some of your fans and friends are replying, super positively. So, dude, awesome. Well done. I love it. Yeah, and I would love to have you on the show sometime. So, we'll chat. Anyway, about putting my advice into action and seeing results. Brendan runs a site in a very interesting niche. It's actually a product niche, one that you and I, the listeners and I, would probably think that would be difficult to create a following for and a community around this product. But Brendan's done it, and specifically has put a lot of my advice into action, and he's going to share how in just a moment. And he is another part-time blogger. He has a full-time job in addition to this blog that he's running, just like Leslie in the last session. He's making money, he's having fun, and more importantly, he's making the world, or specifically parts of the world, a better place as a result of his blogging. So I'll let him talk more about that in a sec. Brendan, dude, thanks so much for coming on the show. How's it going?
It's going great, Pat. I'm really happy to be on the show with you today.
Well, thank you for coming on. As much of my audience knows, I'm always looking for success stories, especially those outside of the make money online sort of blogging entrepreneurship niche. And Brendan has a great niche that I'm excited to dive into today to talk about how he got started and all that. And but I think before anything, I'm going to tell you out there listening, this guy, Brendan, is an action taker, and in order to succeed, that's what you have to be. You have to be an action taker. I mean, I'm on his site right now, and I'll let him reveal what that is exactly in a second. But he's implementing almost every single strategy that I've outlined on the blog and shared on the Smart Passive Income blog, and he is seeing success with it. And he is an action taker. I mean, he's taken part in my reader challenges, and this latest one that I'm doing, I'm asking my audience to just select one of the previous reader challenges that I'm doing. And he emailed me. He's like, Pat, I'm not just going to do one, but I'm going to do every single one of them because I know that they're going to help, and they will. So I mean, you could just kind of tell what kind of person you are, Brendan. So again, thank you for being here. And so just tell everybody, what do you do online? What is it that what kind of site do you have?
Well, Pat, let me just start by saying I think if there's any strategies on your site or anything in your podcast that I haven't implemented yet, It's just because I haven't known about your site long enough. I think given a long enough timeline, I'll definitely implement every single strategy because I've seen so much success with everything.
Well, thank you.
Basically, where I came from, I started maybe a year ago. I read the 4-Hour Work Week, and I was really intrigued by it, and I thought it was really interesting. And I started looking at websites, and something that I've done for probably 6 years now is I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's a grappling style martial art that not a lot of people are familiar with. It's very similar to judo. Mm-hmm. And unlike judo, where they have a governing body that regulates the uniforms, the size and shape and everything, jiu-jitsu is kind of wide open. And in my sport, there's probably 50 different companies that make uniforms, which are called gis.
Right.
And a big problem that I notice is that everybody's gis fit improperly. And so people started reviewing them, and I looked all over the internet, and I saw 20 different sites where there was one review on this site and one on this site and one over there, but there's nothing really cohesive for everybody to get together with. Mm-hmm. I did a little bit of homework, and I found out that some of the major retailers online that sold these uniforms offered affiliate commissions. And I thought, well, that's really cool. And I think I was looking up something about, how to do affiliate marketing or something, and that's when I happened on your site. And it really changed well, let me zoom out a little bit. That's a phrase I've been using lately. I stole it clearly from Dane Maxwell in one of your other podcasts.
Zoom out, yeah.
But I tried to implement everything right away, but I got really overzealous. I'm definitely a doer and not necessarily a planner. I kind of operate under ready, fire, aim as a motto. And what happened was I found your backlinking strategy that works post. Mm-hmm. And I went crazy with it. I made an insane buffer layer and way too many links to my main site and screwed it all up and just wrecked my whole site. Google hated my site and it was awful. So then I thought, well, I can either scrap this or I can stop trying to game Google and just build a community here. And I had a couple people coming to the site regularly, and I made a Facebook page, and I had a Twitter account and all these things. So I just started engaging with people and enjoying it. And I started to build a community, and I started to build traffic and a mailing list with all the strategies on your site, which I'm sure we'll touch on here in a moment. But I ended up building a really awesome community. And like I said, I'm sure we'll talk about momentarily, my rankings are actually coming back, which is pretty cool. It's something I didn't plan on and something I didn't expect. But I can't help but thinking that my strategy to implement your stuff and be everywhere is really what's been causing that to happen.
Right. I mean, that's going to happen because you're creating such a nice community. You have a website that people are going to go to and refer to other people just because it's awesome. Google was going to understand that that's the site that should be ranking for all those different keywords. Now, let me zoom out a little bit and talk about the backlinking strategy. Did you follow it to a T, or did you try to go a little bit faster than you should have, and that's kind of why things started not going the way you had originally planned?
Oh, no. I totally screwed it up. I did it all wrong. I got so excited about it, and I did a lot of the things right that you're supposed to do. But I sent, like I said, way too many backlinks to my homepage. I wasn't providing any value to anybody. And I was totally thinking that I was just going to trick Google and I was going to get rankings because I wanted to rank for every single brand. So if you looked up a review of a specific brand of gi for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you would come to my site. And I thought that's how I was going to get traffic. Mm-hmm. And it's not I'm sure the strategy works because I've used it on other websites that I've made for various people. I helped out a buddy of mine who's a plumber. He came and did my plumbing, and I noticed, he didn't have a website. So I just asked him, can I build a website for you? And I built a really basic WordPress website and did a little bit of backlinking just locally for a couple keywords and did it correctly. And he's got a great website and he gets a lot of business from it. And I'm really happy to help him out like that. So it does work if you do it right, but when you are an overzealous buffoon like I was about it, you can really mess it up.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, because especially online, a lot of us don't want to wait for things to happen, but online, when you have a website or a business of any kind, you sort of have to let things happen on their own, and you can't force the issue. The approach that you're taking now with building a community and actually making like what I like to call an ultimate resource for a particular niche is totally awesome. Is definitely the way to go. So what's the actual URL that of your site so people can check it out?
So my website, and this is another mistake I made early. I wanted to build a niche website, so I wanted an exact match domain. So my website is gearreviews.net. And I thought that was great, but the problem was it's a broad search domain. So I thought, then I immediately looked at the narrow search, and I think people search for gear reviews, the exact keyword phrase, maybe 75 times a month. And I was so bummed by that. But then I realized that when I turned it into an authority site and started building a community, it was actually better.
So what are some of the keywords that you're being found on right now?
And this kind of relates to one of the things I did in the Reader Challenge coming up. One of my pillar articles is about how to get these specific types of gis that are really hard to get. There's one company, it's kind of if your listeners are familiar with Jordan shoes, like Michael Jordan Nike shoes.
Yep.
They do limited releases at midnight in certain places, and they're really hard to find, and there's resellers and everything. But there's gis that are like this too. One gi, so let me just explain a little bit. These gis usually run anywhere from $65 to $200, depending on how nice they are. There's a gi that recently that was really rare, made by this one company called, it's weird, Show Your Roll. They are a really cool company. They have really awesome designs, but they only make limited batches, just like Jordan's, just like the shoes. Mm-hmm. And one of their gis recently went on eBay for almost $1,600.
Wow.
Which is just astounding to me, but it was one of their original ones, and there's only 50 of them, and it was in pretty good, almost mint condition. And people love these things. And I rank for a lot of those keywords because it's what my readers like to read about, and I write about it quite a bit.
So when you review a particular gi, first of all, is your site just all gi reviews? Like every post is a different gi and you review it? And if that's the case, or even if it's not, when you review a gi, how do you review it? What makes your reviews stand out from all the others?
So I'll talk about the reviews first, and then about kind of where the site stands.
Sure.
So the reviews first, I wanted to get them to be really in depth. So I started out doing just really, and I'm sure if people check out the site, they'll see really crazy videos I did in my basement. I just wanted to be everywhere. So I was like, I need video, I need all these things, 1,000-word reviews about how they fit, the aesthetics of them, how much they shrink, how do they wear, over time, all these different things. The jacket part of the uniform, the pants part, everything, how my interaction is with the company. I put it all into the review. How much the gi costs, it all goes in there. And it's really just my completely subjective opinion of what I think of it. And I try and, of course, be as objective as possible, but, that can't really happen. I try and keep it as neutral as I can, but I've started to do a lot of different things that I saw on your site that I thought would be fun and kind of funny, and interjecting my own personality into it. I added a thing called dog approval in all of my reviews that I've been doing lately, where I put pictures of my dogs in there.
Nice.
And I have a section called wife approval, where I get my wife's thoughts on it and put that in there. And it really helps me tie in with my readers. I've made my website a lot more personal lately.
Yeah, see, it's really interesting because you were writing about gis, which I actually own a couple, just randomly so you know. I did Taekwondo when I was little.
I think we all did.
Right. But anyways, I think it's really cool that you're taking a niche that I would assume that when people are building websites for niches like this, that they're just going to put content out there. They're going to try and review every single brand that's out there and really take their personality out of it, because that doesn't really add to the value, it would seem, of the review. But you're kind of doing the opposite. You have a dog approval, wife approval. You're talking about your life. You have videos of you in your basement. I mean, why do you think that matters?
I just think it lets people connect with you and kind of see where you're coming from and see that you're a person too. I think that most people, I know there's been a lot of studies done that show that most people buy things because they know somebody who's related to that company. they maybe get gas at BP because they have a relative who works there, or they shop at Best Buy because their best friend is a manager there. I wanted people to know me, and I wanted people, and it just was. It seemed foolish. I was interacting with people so much, and it was getting so personal that I thought there's really no reason to leave myself out of it. You know, I put corny jokes in there and funny pictures in all of my reviews of me just doing ridiculous things. Like there's in one of them, I have me like working out in my basement with like a sweatband on and all my medals from grappling tournaments. It's ridiculous. And it's a lot of fun too. It has to be fun for me as well. And sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say, because you talk about it being fun, and I can imagine, you know, in any sort of niche. I mean, even I've experienced it myself with Smart Passive Income, with Green Exam Academy, my security guard site. I think everyone goes through this. They go through kind of these down periods where they're not just having fun with their site anymore. They just feel like they got to keep up with it just because that's how many posts they have to have per week, or they have to just keep stuff going, and they're doing it for the wrong reasons, or they forget why they did it in the first place. I mean, you told me right before this call that you kind of went through a sort of meltdown with this site, and can you talk about that really quick, and then also how or why you got out of it?
Absolutely. So about 6 months ago, I kind of had almost just with all the working online, I was doing too many projects at once. I had this site. I was trying to do niche sites at the same time and backlink to those and monetize those with AdSense. I was chasing every latest craze. I was trying to rank my YouTube videos, just doing everything, guest posting, too much. And I kind of got to the point where none of it was fun. I didn't enjoy any of it. And I felt so stressed out. And I felt like if I didn't continue at this pace, that something bad was going to happen. That people were going to stop coming to my site. I wouldn't make any money off it. I was going to lose. I don't know. I'd built it up in my head that I can't even tell you. It was so ridiculous now looking back that I felt like something horrible was going to happen. And I happened upon this website, Zen Habits, by, I'm probably going to, Leo Babauta.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
probably
actually
saying his last name
perfect,
wrong.
actually. No, you're saying it right.
Perfect. Great. I always get nervous when I tell people about it that I'm saying his name wrong.
Yeah, I killed his name in Blog World in 2010, even in front of his face. So don't worry about it.
Perfect. So I can't get worse than that.
No.
So I happened on his site, and I got so much out of it. Just keeping a clean desk and a clean room. In fact, right before I started talking to you just now, I literally cleaned my desk off, and I feel so much more at peace just sitting here. Mm-hmm. It seems ridiculous. I cleaned the whole room that I'm sitting in right now, which kind of touches on your most recent podcast, which I was, oddly enough, listening to today. It really goes along with everything that I read on Leo's site about peace and finding kind of a middle ground with things and finding a balance and finding focus and all of this stuff. I'm a huge procrastinator. I put things off until the 11th hour, and granted, at the 11th hour, I absolutely crush it. I'm really good. I do great work at that 11th hour, but the stress leading up to that sometimes just isn't worth it. And once I kind of reevaluated all these things in my life, I found balance with my family and with, competing and training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and running the website and all of these other things. I dropped all my other projects other than this website. And oddly enough, and this is something that I read about kind of in the 4-Hour Work Week, is just, map out your fears. What's the worst that can happen? And nothing bad happened, to be completely honest with you. My life, the quality of my life improved greatly, and my relationship with my wife is infinitely better. I think I'm a much better person just because I'm able to focus. When I work, and when I'm not working, I don't work. Mm-hmm. I don't check my phone. I don't do any of that stuff. It was really odd. I was riding in the car recently with my wife and some of our friends, and we were going on a long 3-hour car ride. And I didn't talk for like an hour. And finally, somebody, one of our friends was like, "Brendan, are you okay?" And I said, "No, I'm just really enjoying listening." Mm-hmm. And it was that's very, people can kind of tell from this. I'm a teacher, so I talk quite a bit and I like to talk. So for me to sit there quiet for an hour was really a weird thing for everybody around me. But I was just really enjoying listening and just trying to be in the moment, not riding in the car, checking my emails, responding to tweets, not, all this other stuff, planning out 10 tasks that I had to do when I got home and all these other most important tasks of the day. I just was in the moment, and it was great. And that's what I do now.
Right. It's always good to just sit back and listen sometimes, or just focus on what you're doing and not have your, not be somewhere physically, but then mentally somewhere else. It's just your whole body and mind is in one place at one time. And it's always good to kind of do reality checks sometimes and make sure that that's what you're doing.
Yeah, and like you said, when I'm with my wife and my family, that I'm with them. I'm not mentally somewhere else. And I know that as much as I appreciate that and it brings me peace, I know they appreciate that too. And that's even more meaningful for me. So I would advise anybody out there that if they haven't listened to that podcast, that they should. And if they have, that they start implementing some of that. You're so much more effective when you focus on just doing work when it's time to work, and focusing on your family when it's time to be with them, or whatever task you're supposed to be doing right then. Human beings are horrible at multitasking. We just end up doing the 5 things we're trying to multitask. We just do them all really crappy. And if we just focus on one thing at a time, we can do really great things.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. I mean, you just touched on it yourself with your story, getting rid of all the kind of extra projects that you had going on so you could focus on GeeReviews.net. And obviously now it seems like you're having lots of fun with it. I mean, I'm on your Facebook page right now, and you're putting up all these great pictures and interacting with people, which is great. You have 2,700 likes or fans, and in every single post that you put up, there's dozens of comments. And it just amazes me that a community can be built around a product such as a Gee. It's just so cool.
It is. It's really surprised me. And I think a lot of people, and see, here's another thing that I picked up from your site, is not looking at other people who do the same thing as you as rivals. I know there's a lot of people in your niche, and I know there's other people in with security guard training and all these other things. And you advocated that to not, I wish I could cite the exact time that you said this, but just not to look at them as rivals and kind of partner with them and work together on things. And I started doing that and just found so much value. But I feel like so many people, even in my niche, don't really get the engagement thing. There's a couple people who do. I have a friend named Seymour who has a website. It's meerkatsu.com, and he's a really cool artist, and he does jiu-jitsu as well. And he really understands the whole engagement and being friends with people and forming relationships. But I feel like there's a lot of people that really don't. They just say, man, when I post on Facebook, I just get so much traffic to my website. And I just think to myself, it's really not about that.
Yeah, I could take a page out of your book on my security site, because right now that site is, in comparison to yours, I have the information on there. I have the reviews and I have the steps that people would need in order to become a security guard, but I don't have that engagement. So I can definitely probably step up my game on that site even more and make it more of a community and start to talk to people, or at least, even, I know a lot of people don't know that I'm not a security guard, so that it might be a little bit more difficult for me. But because you're obviously in jiu-jitsu yourself, and so it's a lot easier for you to speak the same language and things like that. But I mean, I could easily find someone to do that, or find a couple community leaders who I could either pay or reward with some sort of something, or maybe have them be allowed to be a sponsor on the site for free in exchange for kind of interacting with the community. Something like that. I mean, I think that's really what can help your site, or not your site, Brendan, but other people's sites who are out there who have the information, but you kind of want to take it to the next level. And so, what are the results of all this? I mean, you are everywhere, and I want to talk about that a little bit more in just a second, as far as kind of your strategy, your content building strategy, and maybe if you have a schedule around that. But I mean, what are the results? I mean, how many people are actually reading your blog? I mean, how much traffic do you get? And what are you seeing from all the work that you're doing?
I'm sorry if you can hear me shuffling papers around here. I have a whole bunch of notes just so I don't forget things. So basically what happened was I started my mailing list, and I went through, I've never tried, just to be completely transparent, I've never used Aweber before. I started with MailChimp because it was free, and I could have free subscribers on there. Mm-hmm. And I started in December of 2011, so just about 9 months ago, I had 285 mailing list subscribers. And I listened to some of your affiliate marketing stuff and all these different things. And I started partnering with brands for giveaways. And, the stipulation for the giveaway was, especially that brand that I talked about, Show Your Roll, that was really hard to get a hold of. They said, yeah, we'd love to do a giveaway with you. I called the owner, and he's a really awesome guy. And
nice.
I got, in a single month, I went from February 2012 to March 2012, I got over 1,000 new subscribers just from that one event.
That's awesome.
And right now I sit at right around 3,000 mailing list subscribers, which I think is amazing. And the big thing is, and another thing that I've taken away from your site is with the autoresponder series, I don't push anything on anybody ever. If you want to use my links, you can. If you don't, if you don't feel like my site gives you value, like, please don't use my links, because I don't deserve, that affiliate commission. And I feel also that too many people, I've been reading a lot of Gary Vee lately. You'll probably be able to tell by a lot of the stuff that I say. And I know that you're a proponent of his as well.
I am.
But I think too many people in social media use it as media to push on people. And I loved that autoresponder series post that you made, where it was just all about content engagement. And that's all I set up my autoresponder series. I think I probably have like 12 or 15 weekly or bi-weekly emails that go out, and people know that it's a robot sending it to them, but they still respond, because as soon as they respond, I can't tell you how many emails I've gotten that say, wow, Brennan, I thought that was just automated and I wasn't ever going to hear back from you, and you responded in 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I tell them, like, I have 3,000 people on this list. If I could send all of you an email individually, I totally would. But thank goodness with technology, it makes it easy, and I can ask these questions automatically without having to do it, individually. But I want to hear the answers. I want to hear from people. I sent out an email the other day, Pat. Mm-hmm. I got 200 emails back. I'm sure that's nothing. I'm sure there's people listening to this that are like, whatever, I send out emails and I have 3,000 unread emails in my inbox. But for somebody like me in such a specific niche, not even a niche sport, but like a micro niche within a niche, mm-hmm. to get 200 emails back in like an hour, I couldn't even keep up. I was on cloud nine, and I was just engaging with people, and I was so happy to hear their thoughts and opinions. It was so cool.
That's so cool. Yeah, so there's so many questions I have, because this is just such a great story. Okay, so let me go back to, you are a teacher, you said. What is it that you teach exactly?
I teach psychology and sociology at a really awesome charter school in Gary, Indiana.
Okay. So you're a teacher, you work, relatively long hours as a teacher, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. And then you come home during the day. Do you work on your site every day? How often do you work on your site, and for how many hours, and sort of what kind of work are you doing?
It depends. I kind of work in different intervals. I almost operate on like a blast and dust scale, where I'm either real into it or I'm really trying to get away from it. I oftentimes get up at 4:30 in the morning and get about an hour or two of work done on the site, or on, just engaging on Facebook or whatever I have planned, whatever's coming up. And then be it reviews or guides. Another big part that I've made of the site is not just gi reviews, but also how to maintain your gi and how to care for it. One of the things that I've done for the upcoming Reader Challenge is write it's an ebook, but I've been calling it the Epic Gi Book. So
Love
corny.
It. No, that's so good, though. That's so good.
But again, another strategy I implemented from your site. I bought epicgibook.com. So when I tell people or do guest posts, I can tell them, go to epicgibook.com, and it'll take them right to there.
Yeah, that's great.
Which I think's a great idea. So I get up I go off on tangents.
No, okay.
I get up at 4:30 in the morning, and I work on the site for a while, whatever I need to work on. Usually when I get home at night, a lot of that is family time, or I go train, or, I go do jujitsu, or whatever I have to do. But a lot of time at night, it's just grading papers or getting ready with lesson plans. I'm very blessed that I've been teaching the same class for about 5 years, so I really have a really good handle on my content, and I love teaching. It's such a cool subject, psychology and sociology. If you're a teacher and you want something that immediately applies to students' lives, and you don't have to convince them that they're going to use this when they're older, psychology and sociology is where it's at, and it's a total blessing that I've been able to teach that. I absolutely love it.
That's cool.
So obviously my time now, being that many years into it, is very different than my first year, where it was just, 40 hours at work and then 40 hours outside of work, 80-hour work weeks, figuring everything out. And now it's just a lot more of looking for new and creative things and looking for new lessons to write, new videos and new, multimedia to work with them, and projects and just fun things that'll kind of enhance. But I find that so many of the things that I do with my website translates into the classroom as well. Just engagement and building relationships. I feel like I'm an infinitely better teacher as soon as I learned how to really share myself and build relationships and provide value every single day. It's so weird how a lot of times your personal life translates into your online life, but mine has had a reverse effect, and it's just gotten so much better since I've got all of these tools now.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as be everywhere, you have your website, you have your videos, and you just recently started a podcast too, which I think is really cool, especially again for this micro niche. And I saw some chatter about the podcast on your Facebook page, and a lot of people are excited about it, which I think is really cool. How are you delegating what to do as far as being everywhere and when to do it? Are you doing like one post a week, one video a week, and then one podcast every 2 weeks, or how is that working out? Or are you still trying to kind of figure that out?
I know it sounds crazy right now, but so what happened was I engaged so much with people that I'm really proud to say that one of my buddies, I had him on to do some guest reviews and really just build the community. My buddy Dan Halpin is now a part of the team. It's he and I on the website. So now I have a partner, and I just feel like we can take it to and this is something you said earlier, how do we take it to that next level, is just, I got a partner, and he's awesome, and he helps me tremendously and does amazing work, and I feel so blessed to have him on board. But we have content kind of ready to rock for a while. We have not necessarily a regular posting schedule. We try and post 2 to 3 times a week. We don't want to beat people over the head with content to the point that they kind of feel like if they're not on the website constantly, I'd rather have them on Facebook or in their email engaging with me than reading, nonsense posts that I'm putting up just so I can have a post every day. I'd rather keep the content high quality and almost make it like evergreen content. Mm-hmm. So it's, 5 years from now or, 6 months from now, it's still valuable versus just putting up nonsense posts every day just to post and then having people not care about it in a week or two. I'd rather have quality content that provides value and then spend my other time engaging.
Right.
So just to answer your original question, we usually post about 2 or 3 times a week. The podcast, optimally, I would love to do once or twice a month. Right now, I'm not really sure how it's going to go or getting guests and things like that. I have a whole bunch of people on board that I'm really excited. We have an upcoming podcast, which is another thing with the Reader Challenge, an interview with a guy from, it's an organization called Tap Cancer Out. Mm-hmm. And they're just, a grappling-centered foundation for finding cures to cancer and donating to different cancer funds and things like that. And it's something that I'm really passionate about, and my partner Dan is really passionate about, and we're going to get them on and do a podcast with them. It's really cool, and we try and do it as regularly as we can. But if we don't, I think the biggest thing is just we don't get stressed about it. If we miss a day or the posting schedule is off a little bit, it's okay. It's not worth uprooting your entire life just to have 3 posts in a week versus 2.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that. I mean, for a while, I was very strict on 3 posts a week, and when things started happening in my life where I just couldn't do that, for a while, I was putting out a lot of posts that were just not as high quality as they would normally be, just to get that 3rd post in during the week. And a lot of people started to email me and say, you know what, Pat, this isn't as good as the stuff that we're used to getting. I mean, I would rather have you post even just once a week or even once a month. But have it be the same quality that you used to. And, things change and things happen in people's lives. And, I'm always going to, I just had another kid and that's taking a little bit of time away from work too. But I'm always going to strive for 2 to 3 posts a week. But if I can't make it one particular week for some reason, I'm not going to kill myself over it, which I know a lot of people do.
Hey, just to interrupt you. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's really fantastic.
Yeah, she's taking a nap right now, so hopefully she'll give us a few more minutes to talk here. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about monetization a little bit. Now, I don't want to. We don't have to get into specific numbers, but you are making money from what you're doing on your Gi site, correct?
Absolutely. I kind of have to, because I didn't think that it was right to ask, my family, my wife, to give up not only the time that I spend on this venture, which I'm really passionate about, which I really enjoy, but also to fund it as well. I wanted the site to pay for itself.
Right, and so it sounds like it's doing pretty well, and you are primarily making money through affiliate marketing through the Gis, correct?
Yeah. Right now we're making money through the affiliate sales. I have a couple people that there's a couple banner ads along the side of my site.
Nice.
That's private advertising. They pay to put an advertisement there. And in addition, and I guess I can announce it here. I haven't really talked about this even on my website yet, and I guess I'm kind of proud to announce it here.
Thank you.
One of the things that I noticed was going on is that there's all these cool adult Gis. And I think, like you mentioned earlier, when we were kids, almost everybody did Taekwondo. Everybody did. It was there's some adults that did it and some teenagers, but a lot of it was kids. And I noticed with kids' Gis and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that there just really wasn't anything cool. And if there was something cool, people were charging like $150 for a Gi that a kid is going to grow out of in 6 months.
Right.
And I just didn't feel like that was right. So I did a whole bunch of research, and I'm starting my own Gi company. And what's cool is that
it's sick. That's awesome.
I'm really excited about it, Pat. And I'm doing a couple really cool things that might blow up in my face. And I don't care, because I think it's going to provide just so much value for people that work with my company. In addition to working at a price point that I think is totally reasonable with people, I'm going to do a Gi buyback program, because a lot of kids don't ruin their Gis. They don't tear them up like adults do. And their Gis are in perfect condition when they're done with them, when they grow out of them. And what I'm going to do is offer people a discount if they mail and pay them to mail their Gi back to me, and then give them a discount on a brand new Gi.
I love that.
So I'll have all of these used kids' Gis, and I can do two things with them. I can either resell them on my site. I can sell used Gis at like a super low discount price. Or, which is what I like to do, I'd have all these used Gis that are mine, that I know the quality. I kind of know their background and everything. My plan is to take them down to Brazil. There's a lot of kids, especially in the city of Rio de Janeiro, who just live in extreme abject poverty that is the likes of stuff we don't even know here in the United States. Like, we don't know hunger. We don't know poverty like they know poverty there. And a lot of these kids, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's either soccer, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or drugs, and that's their way out to make money. Mm-hmm. And they can't afford. The thing is, a lot of these kids want to. There's this big drive to compete and do the sport and everything, but they can't afford Gis. And there's a program for foreigners to come into Brazil. It's called Connection Rio, where you can stay and have lodging and everything. And I hooked up with them, and I found a gym in Rio de Janeiro with a guy that only trains kids, and he has such a need for Gis, Pat. And I just am really excited to not only start this business and make money and all of these things, but and help my customers here in the United States. But I also want to help people in Rio de Janeiro and help these kids, and just send a whole bunch of Gis down there for them as well.
I think that's great. You're not just, see, this is what happens when you just put yourself out there online and you create something awesome, and it gives you just so many opportunities to do wonderful things in this world and help so many people. And also have wonderful things happen to you too. I mean, you're starting this new company. You get to help these kids in Rio. I mean, that's just awesome, right? And like, so well done.
And you know what? I owe you a huge thank you too, Pat. I know a lot of people will never see this, but originally I sent Pat this epic 3-page text document of just everything that he has said, post by post, that has made a difference in what I've done. And if you're new to his site, man, Pat, I got to be honest with you. When I first discovered your site, I feel like my wife was like, "Can you please shut up about Pat Flynn?" Like, I've heard about enough about this. And it wasn't her fault. It was mine. I was just raving, and I watched all your videos and read all the posts, and you do a great job of cross-linking to relevant content in your posts. So I would open one thing and be like, wow, this is really interesting. And then I'd have like 7 more tabs opened after that just from reading that one post. And I can't even tell you enough, or thank you enough that this has really made a difference in my life. And not just in my life, but in the life of my readers as well. I get crazy emails all the time just from people telling me how helpful it is and how much the internet needed something like this. I had a guy tell me that he felt like this is God's work that I was doing, and that just meant so much to me. For geese, it absolutely. I mean, I have just one right here. I just wanted to let you know you're doing a heck of a job on your page. Once again, thank you so much. I follow you on Facebook. I enjoy all the info you've personally provided for me. You're a good guy. Just know that. P.S. Your dogs are awesome. These are emails that I get from people, and I'm sure you get emails like that too. And it's so rewarding for me to be able to provide value for other people.
Right, and this all goes back to way back. I was talking to Mark Mason Nicole Dean was on the podcast. It was episode 4 or 5 or something like that, a couple of years ago actually. She said, in order to succeed online and to really be fulfilled in life, just do what you can to make the internet a better place. That's really what it comes down to. And that's what you're doing. And we all are doing it in our own different way. You just happen to be doing it through geese, but you are making the world and the internet and those who are interested in geese, you're just making everything better. So big shout out to you and your company and to your partner. Is it Dan? You said.
Yep.
Kudos to you guys. I hope you guys go big, even bigger than you are going already. And the last thing I want to touch on that I almost forgot. I have in my notes here. I wanted to cover your second podcast episode's coming out soon, and you were talking to me about this before. How you were going to reveal to your audience that you make money on your site through affiliate links. And so briefly talk to me about that. Why are you deciding to do that, and how do you think people are going to take it?
So basically, I was looking at different strategies and things like that, and that's something that you've said, and I probably, I feel like I almost had to get hit over the head with it, because I feel like you've said it 100 times before it finally clicked, that I just needed to tell people on my site, these are affiliate links, and if you want to use them, if the site provides value, please click them, and if it doesn't provide value, I don't deserve that affiliate commission, and don't click them. So I'm going to start my second podcast, like you said, with a disclaimer explaining that to everybody. I want to be fully transparent. I don't want people to think that I'm involved in jiu-jitsu forums because I want clicks and I want money, and it's not about that at all. I feel like you embody the idea that the best marketing strategy out there is just to care about people. And I care so much about my readers that the fact that I could accidentally deceive them just really bothered me. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do exactly what you're doing. And I hope that I'm going to see probably what you see a lot too. I know that, here, for my personal story, I can't even tell you. Pretty much every tool that I've ever bought online, I made sure, all right, let me go to smartpassiveincome.com and go to the resources page. All right, there, and I'm going to click through this link and make sure that he gets the affiliate income, because he provides so much value for free to me that I want to make sure that he can, pay his bills and continue doing awesome stuff like this.
Well,
and I hope that I'll see the same thing.
Thank you, Brennan. And I'm sure you will, because what happens is when you provide so much value to people, just like you're doing on your site, and I hope people who are listening to this go there just to see what a really niche site about a specific product can be like. GIReviews.net, GIReviews.net. That if you just provide so much value, people are going to go out of their way to give back to you in whatever way they can. And if it's not through purchasing something, it's through sharing you, or at least leaving a comment and just saying thank you. I actually, funny you mentioned that. And again, thank you for going out of your way, Brendan, to do that. That means the world to me. I got an email from a guy named Chris the other day who said that he was going to buy Camtasia, which is a screen recording software, and he was at the checkout on their website, and before he clicked submit, he thought to himself, heck, I wonder if Pat has an affiliate link. So he closed all the windows, went back to my site, and went through my affiliate link just to make sure that I got that credit. I mean, he was right there, but took a little bit of extra time just to go through my link, which is I appreciate that so much, and it just means the world to me, and it just shows you. I mean, I talk about this all the time, and like you said, I am a broken record about this, and I don't care that I'm a broken record about this because it works, and I love this strategy. It's a strategy where everybody's a winner. You just give stuff away as much as you can, and you're always going to get back stuff in return. I mean, your income is the byproduct of how helpful you are to people, and you are absolutely being helpful to people. I mean, your reviews are awesome, and they're entertaining, and they're very thorough. Like I'm looking at one right now for it's called the Full Meadow Jiu-Jitsu BJJ gi review, which I don't even know what that means, but there's
Full Metal Jiu-Jitsu. It's one of those crazy things, Pat. There's a gym in Australia, and that's their academy gi. That's the one that they give to all their members there. And I thought, man, that's such a cool gi. I wonder if I can get one of those. So I emailed him, and he's like, oh yeah, I love your site. That sounds great. Let me send it to you. And he just sent me one all the way from Australia. How cool is that?
That's awesome. Companies will do that. I mean, they want to get their stuff out there on sites where there is traffic, and they're talking about relevant stuff. I mean, I know a guy who is a mountain bike rider who has a site, and he just emails companies and asks to see what their new products are and reviews them on his site, and they give it to him for free. It's awesome. So on this, you have the intro, you have a video, you have pictures, you have a part where you talk about the design. You look at the tag on the inside of the gi. You have all the measurements, the jacket, the trousers, the rolling, which is I don't even know what that means, and then a summary.
rolling is like sparring.
Oh, okay. And then at the end you have purchase. Click here to get the gi, and it's just awesome. And I love to see this sort of smart passive income model on a site just like this. And I think this is what every single kind of niche product site should be like. And if you compare this to just a niche site that's built just for keywords, even if you compare it to one of my own sites, Security Guard Training, this is way better, I think. So I have a lot of work to do and things to think about, because I do know that having a community behind your site is the best way to take it to places you can't even imagine. Creating your own business and helping other people around the world. This is just good stuff, Brendan. Thank you so much for being on the show. If you had one tip to give to people who are trying to get online, who are trying to start something, what would that tip be? I mean, I know it's such a general question, but what would your number one tip be for people?
If you don't mind me giving two instead of one.
Two is good.
I think good, not three, just two. So I think the first one would just to be patient. Just please be patient with things. The rankings will come in Google. The people will come. If you're on there and you just absolutely crush it with your content, and then you engage over that content, and don't be, in forums posting 3,000 links to your site. That's a mistake that I made, and everybody knew me as the link guy, and they were like, why are you posting this again? Look, just great quality content and just be patient. You're hearing about me after a year of just getting up at 4:30 every morning, going to bed at 11:30 every night, and just working my butt off to make this awesome. And it took a year of hard work and a lot of learning to make this happen. And I think if my second tip, if I could give any other tip, it would just be to care. Care about people. Care about how you can help them. That should be your number one thing anytime you engage with anybody, is just how can I help them? Can I take 20 extra minutes? Can I email somebody for them? Can I do, your niche better than I do. So I know inside and out how to help people out in my niche. And I do that all the time. And I think if you're in your niche, that's the first question you need to ask yourself. Sit down right now, make a list of 10 ways that you could really help people out. And I think that'll carry you a long ways.
That's great, Brendan. Thank you so much. I mean, it's just everyone out there. I mean, you can build a site in a very small niche and be successful. You can do this while you have another job. You can do this if you just wait a little bit and be patient and work at it, like you said. And now you are, pulling in income. You are making a passive income. You're making sales without you having to be there in order for those sales to happen. And it just sounds like you're having a lot of fun too. So well done, Brendan. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much for having me on, Pat. This is really, if you would have told me a year ago when I was just reading, 45 pages on your website a day that I would someday be on your podcast, that I would have told you there's absolutely no way. But I'm very thankful to share my story and to share with people that if they go on and they just implement the strategies as they're as you can see with my backlinking strategy, if they do things how they're supposed to be done, they'll have a lot of success with it.
Awesome, Brendan. Thank you, and thank you for being so supportive of my strategies. And I don't want people to think that I just had you on here just to kind of make me look better. I mean, you had such a good story, but I mean, again, I just appreciate all the support, and I can't wait to bring you back on the show later to tell us how your business is going and how your trip down to Rio was when you hand delivered some geese to the studio.
I'm looking forward to it, Pat. Thanks.
All right, Brendan. Thank you. All right, I hope you guys enjoy that interview with Brendan Hufford from GIReviews.net. That is GIReviews.net. Please check it out. It's such an awesome thing he has going on there. Like he was saying, it's really a micro niche site. It's, if you really think that there's no other niches out there, that all the good niches are taken, I mean, just look at something like that. I mean, you could really get specific and, a niche in a niche in a niche, really, and build a big community around it, just like Brendan did, and really succeed. And again, he's doing that part-time. And now it seems like it could be something full-time for him in the near future, which is great. So best of luck to you, Brendan. Thank you again for being on the show. Thank you all for listening. And I cannot wait till the next session number 50. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait for you to hear it. And until then, just keep killing it out there, doing your best, providing value. Just, what's up. Just go ahead and do it, take action, and good things are going to happen. All right, I'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Smart Passive Income Podcast at www.smartpassiveincome.com.
Have you dreamt about being your own boss, but still haven't made the first steps to making that dream a reality? Well, I get that. Starting a business can feel super overwhelming with legal forms, paperwork, finances. It's a lot. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about Taylor Brands. Taylor is a complete business builder designed to make launching your business simple and stress-free. You can register your LLC in just minutes, keeping your personal assets and the business assets separate from day one. From there, you get access to everything you need to get off the ground. Legal documents, licenses and permits, invoicing and bookkeeping tools, and even a 100-day business coaching program, all designed to help you hit the ground running. You'll also get a free, personalized business plan, branding tools, and so much more. And of course, listeners of this show get an exclusive 35% discount to get started. All you have to do is head to taylorbrands.com/SPI. That's TAILORBRANDS.com/SPI. Stop dreaming, start building with Taylor Brands. I get it. You want to grow your business, but selling at scale feels overwhelming. You're drowning in complicated funnels, creating different lead magnets, or constantly posting on social media. And that gets exhausting fast, especially when you're trying to sell to hundreds or thousands of people. But what if you could sell at scale with a simple, powerful quiz? A score app quiz or assessment asks your audience key questions and gives them instant personalized results based on their answers. Your audience gets to know where they are now and shows them the steps they need to hit their goals. You can set up a quiz in minutes using Score App's templates and have a powerful lead magnet that'll do the selling for you. The best part is your audience actually wants to take this quiz, and you build huge amounts of trust before you even make a single offer. No hard sales, no chasing leads, just value at scale. Get 50% off the first 3 months using the discount code SPI. Just head to scoreapp.com/SPI. Again, that's scoreapp.com/SPI.